So what's your impression of the Poland you must have had, calm during this bad weather, period, rain and so on?
Yeah, it was just yesterday when I arrived, a little bit of rain, but it was not too strong. Today the weather is beautiful. Beautiful Gdansk. So the old city is really great. It's amazing. I love it. So you got a real cool location here.
Because you know what we used to say in Poland, better rain. How's it? Better rain than another video analytics startup in the field.
I didn't know about that saying, but it's good.
No, let's stick to let's stick to the facts, because you are one. To be blunt, you're one of the best video analytics companies out there that I used to work with, and one of those things that you always think of while working with video analytics ISVs is what is the difference between them? And I wanted to ask you if you can explain what is so special about SAIMOS, and what kind of thing is so special that you provide that can stand you out from the rest of VA companies?
Well, first of all, thanks for the compliment. And to answer your question, it's our dedication, maybe. If I'm going back in history, our video analytics division was a spin-off of the Technical University of Vienna. And that time the research topic was already how to run neural networks, AI, video analytics on a CPU rather than on a GPU. So this is what we have been focusing on from the beginning. And thanks to OpenVINO, our efforts in migrating the neural networks from GPU-driven solutions to CPU, Intel CPUs, by utilizing OpenVINO, helped a lot and reduced our efforts a lot. So the outstanding thing, I believe, is that we purely develop on Intel CPUs, and our video analytics does not need graphic cards from other vendors, which are nowadays rare and expensive, probably also energy intense. And by that, we have got a much better performance ratio in real-time analytics, frame-by-frame analytics, based on Intel CPU. So this is one specialty which I believe makes us outstanding. So we're not looking left and right. And the other one is potentially the strategy to have a seamless integration with Milestone. And also here we're concentrating on one product only.
For those that are listening to us and don't know what Milestone is, can you refer?
Yeah, Milestone is one of the leading video management systems globally. They do the recording, they manage the camera, so whatever a video management system itself does. They've got a workflow engine in there, they've got an alarming system in there. It's an open platform similar to us.
So it's like a software running on a computer in these dark rooms in films where 007 enters the room and says that you will give me now the recording because I need to look for a thief or a hostile agent of the Soviet Union.
So actually, I like I'm looking for dark room.
Is that software that we see?
Yes, exactly. That's the software which is recording the videos where you're collecting the video evidence, but it's also firing up the video walls. Yeah? So in your security operations center, in your control room, where you've got all these big walls with all loads of screens around, this is what Milestone X-Protect does. Mm-hmm. But it does not do analytics. That's something we are doing. And by that, we are a plug-in into Milestone X-Protect to enrich their capabilities by analytics.
Can anyone plug into the milestone system?
Yes, basically it's an open platform, and that's the advantage to end customers as well. So they are not hostaged with one solution, and typically with other vendors out there, you have to go with whatever they offer you at their price level. Yeah? With an open platform like Milestone X Protect, you're free to choose which video analytics you would like to run. And that puts a bit of pressure on us, and it complies with our philosophy to provide best quality. Because if they're not happy with us, they easily can switch to another analytics. Also, we're not providing the whole fully specialized video analytics, let me say like PPE, which is personal protection equipment detection in port operations.
What is that?
This would be a hard hat, a signal vest, or the safety shoes.
So if a worker comes to on a construction site without a helmet, that would detect that he doesn't wear a helmet.
Exactly. So this is something very laser focused, and that's something we do not have. But other companies, they do have it, and they can just add it on then. While we have got the generic analytics like perimeter protection, so that means intrusion detection. We got license plate recognition. We can go for object counting, so people or vehicles, heat mapping in retail, left object, theft object detection, long-term loitering, or when it comes to GDPR, dynamic blurring of video content, so whatever is moving in the video is becoming blurred. Face recognition, face analytics, so gender age estimation, so business intelligence, to extract data from unstructured video streams. And this is exactly what we do on top.
So if anybody can plug into that video management system, what's so special about SAIMOS that allows you to stand out among all the rest of the plugins? Why would anyone choose SAIMOS instead of anyone else?
Well, I believe because of the broad video analytics portfolio we do have, but not too broad, quite generic. So we are scalable. A customer can grow. So he would start maybe with footfall to understand in an emergency evacuation scenario, how many people do I have in which sections of my building? And then later on, if this is a shopping mall, for example, the customer might understand, hey, that's business intelligence data, which I can use to stuff up because I'm recording all the data over time. So I've got my statistics, and I know Monday morning I've got typically that footfall, on Tuesday afternoon that footfall. So I can plan in my stuffing for security staff, for example, but also salespeople. And then when you're going the next step with the heat map, you would also see where in space these people are moving around over time. So you would also understand where do I have very active areas and less active areas. That information you can use for two purposes. The one purpose is to place special offers in these hot areas where a lot of people, a lot of traffic is around, so you can increase your sales turnover. And on the other side, to optimize your location, your store layout. Because if you see in the back corner somewhere there, it's a cold area, so that means there are not a lot of people passing by there. You're still paying rent, so you want to make use of this area. That means you might want to play with a different layout of your shop to make sure people are passing there as well and seeing the products you're offering.
Mm-hmm. So you're specialized in finding in attachment to detail when it comes to business intelligence, right? So you are very, very specialized in finding the right information to be used for business purposes that solve someone's problems.
Exactly.
But it's not very exciting.
Well, I don't know if it's exciting or not. You can add it then. Think about intrusion later on.
Yeah, it's a practical side of AI. So which part of AI technology is more attractive? Humanoid robots of the future with super intelligence, or simple down-to-earth object detection systems?
I believe it's both. Yeah.
If you could pick one, which one is more attractive?
It always depends on the use case. From that point of view, it depends what I need as a customer. If I'm in hospitality and the super AI robot can help me in the one or the other way to satisfy my customers, my visitors, then that's fine. Yeah, money for value or value for money. If I want to have a VIP detection, for example, because I can see already with license plate recognition, for example, yeah. So a VIP enters my car park, so I can get my stuff at the front desk ready that Tim, the VIP, is arriving in a minute or two, so they are ready to host you with that level of hospitality you would expect being a VIP. That might create an immediate turnover and an immediate satisfaction to the customer I'm providing. And these are then two different price levels, because such a robot is definitely more expensive than our license plate recognition. So it's really hard to tell what is more exciting. From an engineering point of view, yes, of course, a super AI robot, that's something fancy, is no doubt. But you can also combine it. You know, what I saw, for example, earlier this year at an exhibition was a guarding dog and a robot. It was a robotic dog. And that robotic dog had cameras on top of. And suddenly you can combine it, because the dog is guarding and it sees with its video cameras. And these video streams are coming into your operations center. So with these streams, then again, you can do video analytics on top. So I'm not seeing this either or question. It's a combination, and at the end of the day, it's a solution.
Yeah, it would say it's all that matters in terms of this kind of technology is looking for a way to make it useful to the people.
Yeah.
Because usually if we had an innovation event like that of Intel, or Tesla days, right, and Elon Musk is coming out to the scene and showing his humanoid robot, and that robot doesn't really solve any human day-to-day problems. Is there any ROI behind it? Yeah, and how do you find such an ROI for this practical use cases? How do you look for solutions to somebody's problems?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So thanks for that one. We're always driven by a process which we can optimize. So as I said, people counting for emergency evacuations, or when it comes to intrusion detection, perimeter protection, this is about protecting assets or theft. Think about you've got copper cables. Yeah, people would like to steal them because they're really valuable. So intrusion, theft. By that you got already an ROI in preventing theft. In retail, you got the ROI by selling more based on the extracted metadata. For example, we can also go for general age estimation. Then combine that one with a digital display, so digital signage, and it will give you suddenly a targeted advertisement as per your gender and age group. So here you can have immediate return of investment. The license plate recognition, where you could go ahead and place an automatic parking fee on your parking lots. You can manage the count and the occupancy of your car park. So that you don't need to rely on humans or other sensor technology, which you have to put all over the parking lots. Yeah? Sensor for each parking spot. By that, you're saving a lot of money.
So out of so many use cases, how do you pick the right one to focus on when starting a company or trying to run it? If you want to do video analytics, how do you choose?
Yeah. So let me put it that way. We grew over time. And the very first product we had was perimeter. So we were laser focusing on the perimeter product, so intrusion detection. The other vertical was security, critical infrastructure. And then later on, when that product became mature, we developed the next module. So we added segments, industries. And in reality, we are not laser focusing on single use cases, but on the overall solution. And that gives us or our customers the advantage of scalability.
But but from marketing point of view, let's say if you're opened up and it's a great advantage to have an open ecosystem technology, because now you're not embodying any kind of vertical like retail or smart city or whatever. You just provide a platform for whomever like to use it, right? Whatever the use case is. But from the marketing standpoint, if you want to run a company, you have to invest somewhere. And if you want to invest in marketing, how do you choose among all these use cases where to put the most, emphasis on or effort in terms of marketing?
Again, here we grew over time. So what we did is we were adding one segment after the other, thinking about and getting especially the feedback from the market, how our video analytics can be used within these segments. So you already mentioned a few ones like retail, smart city, there's also safe city, there's critical infrastructure, there's transportation, education, campuses, banking. And for all of these, we created fact sheets. A fact sheet is nothing else than an A4 brochure, breaking it down to the bottom, saying, this is the analytics you could do with that outcome. Here's the next analytics you can do with that outcome. And by that, a customer in that certain segment could pick and get ideas what he can do with the video analytics.
Do people understand the outcome, or do you have to train them somehow before they can use it?
It varies on the geo, depending where in the world video analytics is already a bit more known or less known. So there's always a consulting component in there, or education component, if you want to call it like that, during the marketing, where we are telling our customers, hey, you can do that and that and that. But you can start up with this. Don't go with everything at once, because it would not make sense. So it could be a phased implementation plan. In other cases, customers are already coming up with a problem and saying, hey, this is my issue. How can I solve it? And we can also help here with an approach, provide the consulting accordingly. And then in other cases, they informed themselves already. They know exactly, I need perimeter protection. I want to have a thermal camera. And this is the environment I'm running in. So what can you offer?
So how do you start an AI company in 2022?
Wow, good question. As I started it already years back, I don't have to think about that anymore.
If you were about to start it again today, how would you do that? Which use case would you pick, or kind of use case technology would you start from?
I love to be a front runner and a niche player. So most likely I would pick something quite sophisticated, where there are not too many players in, to address a problem which is scalable.
Like automatic hot dog maker, for example.
Yeah, for example.
We have that in Poland already. Don't worry.
Yeah. I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't know. Yeah, this is a process, so I would need to sit down. What we did now recently with a partnering company, the S-Box. The S-Box, they provide you the hardware plus our software, and the hardware is Intel CPU driven. It's scalable, so there is a good, better, best option, which is reflected then also in the CPUs which are in these units in there. So, we've got the core, then the silver, and the Xeon Gold processor. So this is the scalability here in these boxes. And the interesting thing, what they do is they bundle everything together and provide it to the end customer, or actually to a system integrator on a subscription basis. The hardware and the software pre-licensed all in one. And that's something I believe it's quite innovative. And they provide it in 4 flavors. One is a license plate recognition flavor, one is a face analytics flavor, one is for intrusion detection, and one is for, let's say, retail business intelligence, like people counting, 2D people counting, and heat mapping.
See, is this something that you had in the field back in the times where you started SAIMOS, or is this ecosystem building something new, which is something that you can take the advantage of in 2022?
I believe this is a new approach, because where do you get the hardware and the software directly under OPEX without the need of getting CapEx done? Mm-hmm. So no investment, upfront investment done. I believe that's new. It's also when it comes to the cloud. And we're talking here that the S-Box in its current version is, call it an Intel Edge AI box. So it's AIoT, it's an AIoT device. And you can connect it into a cloud. Let's say you're a retailer with multiple branches, or you're a bank with multiple branches, bakery, pharmacy, whatsoever. The branches do have cameras installed, but the internet connection, the bandwidth is not good enough to stream all the video live into a centralized location. That location could be a data center, or it could be a cloud computer where the data would become analyzed. In that case, you go with the DS-Box, so an Edge AI device, analyze the data locally, and only send the metadata in real time or near real time into your management server in headquarter, which could be a virtual headquarter, AWS for example, or in your data center on a virtual machine there. So the nice thing here is you're distributing the computing power. You've got the full management capabilities available from a centralized point of view. And you can even mix and match, because let's say you've got a smaller branch with only 2-3 cameras, and the bandwidth is good enough there to stream the video directly into your cloud and do the analytics on the cloud as well. So by that, we provide this mix and match capabilities in our solution. And this is only possible because we're using Intel CPU-based video analytics, or OpenVINO-based video analytics, which provides us this scalability and flexibility, as we don't need any other hardware rather than the Intel CPU here.
I mean, most of the market still thinks that to make proper AI, you need GPU.
No, we don't need a GPU to
Why?
do proper AI. Well, we are in real-time analytics, so we analyze frame by frame. This is why the CPU-based approach is much more efficient, rather a GPU-based approach. I will tell you later on why. If you do a forensic approach, then the GPU approach is better because you can put a lot of frames, so a whole video sequence directly on the GPU and process it there and then receive the results. If you do it frame by frame, you would need to take the data package from CPU into the memory. From the memory, it will be transferred into the GPU, processed there, and then the package goes via the memory back to the CPU again for further processing in a simplified manner. So the delay, the bottleneck here will be the memory transfer. And this is what it slows down. And this is why the CPU-based video analytics in real-time analytics frame by frame is more efficient on the CPU because you do not need to do the transfer via the memory. It's as simple as that. The training of a neural network, the deep learning and all of these things like GitHub, which is, by the way, a great initiative by Intel, and thank you very much for having us here in the Early Adopters program.
My pleasure. I invented it. No, I didn't.
I met the guys in the US, so...
You're better informed than I am, probably.
Well, so a really great initiative. So anyway, coming back to the subject, we do the training on the GPU. Yeah, this is what it's good for. But then it's migrated for the inference. That means for the daily operations to run the neural network, it's migrated onto a CPU environment or via OpenVINO, all the chipsets which are brought out recently by Intel as well, and OpenVINO supports.
Even in the circumstances where you have to do bulk inference and do the big batch, so pushing a lot of frames at once to do parallel processing, would you be able to do the same on CPU?
Well, again, we do a frame-by-frame analytics. Mm-hmm. Once it's a bulk processing, then it's better to use the GPUs. And now with OpenVINO in there and the new Intel GPUs coming out, that's also very nice from our point of view, being an ISV, an independent software vendor, that we utilize exactly the same technology to make use and take advantage of the new Intel GPUs to do the bulk processing of a lot of frames on that chipset rather than the frame-by-frame analytics. But again, we are a real-time analytics solution. We do not do bulk video analytics. So we take channel by channel, frame by frame.
Is this some kind of market insights that you got through research, that most of the customers that you would encounter in the field would need real time instead of heavy duty GPUs? Why real time is so important?
You want to know things happening now. So when an intrusion happens in the old days, okay, you had the mess. So that means you had the pain, you had the loss, you had the damage, whatsoever. And then the video surveillance system only helped you to see what happened afterwards, so you could start to do the investigations. So you were only in the position to act later on. With real-time analytics, you can react now. And this is the good thing about real-time analytics. I want to know what is happening now. While for forensics, which absolutely makes sense as well, so I'm not putting real-time analytics against forensics. So I believe these are complementary technologies. And if I want to have information right now, let's say occupancy, I'd want to know now how many people are in my canteen. Because the canteen is planned for 120 people. So it does not make any sense to have this information later on that I had an over occupancy. So we got a customer, for example, with about 3 canteens. and we are directing the streams because Canteen 1 has got already about 100 people in there while the other two are empty. So in a combination with digital signage and all of that combined in the Milestone open platform, you would tell the people on the screen, hey, Canteen 1 has got already 80, 100 people in there, while Canteen 2 and 3, there are 20, 30 people. That means people will go there because they know they can find more space in there, and they can, the queues are not that long. So this is where you need real-time analytics. When it comes to intrusion, let's say critical infrastructure, we also integrated LiDAR, for example. So we have been the first video analytics company integrating light detection and ranging combined with a GIS, a geographic information system, in a video analytics environment. And that again was in Milestone as a video management system. So this is also for perimeter protection. And here you would see already an approach. So intruders approaching. So you've got early warning, then you can get the warning once your perimeter, your fence is reached and it's breached, and you can react immediately to avoid damage. So this is the difference. In real-time analytics, I want and I need the information when it happens to be in a position to react immediately rather than act afterwards.
So do I understand it correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, does Intel, by introducing the discrete graphics, very comparable to the competition or even outperforming it according to our benchmarks, do we allow ISVs like SAIMOS to enter this adjacent field of video analytics where you actually need to digest the data for a little longer time to get the business insight back to the customer?
Yeah, definitely. So that's the beauty about the Intel chipset, is what I'm calling it, because you've got the discrete graphics, you've got the CPU stuff, you've got AVX in there. So certain command sets inside the CPU now. The new Intel GPUs are out there. Movideos as a VPU so is there. And the beauty about OpenVINO is it allows you to utilize all of these resources which might be available within your computer. And in that case, also, again, it doesn't matter whether it's a server grade box or it's a nuke grade, so edge IoT box, or anything in between. And again, I mentioned it before already, good, best, better, best. So, and all of that is there. This is the scalability.
So that'll be it in terms of the advertisement of Intel components. Now let's get back to less pleasant topics.
Yep.
UAE, or maybe let's actually dive into less positive things, because this is also important in terms of your systems that you are deploying. So on May 13, San Francisco legislation voted to ban city agents from using facial recognition technology. And in January, a member of the city board of supervisors said he had yet to be persuaded that there is any beneficial use of this technology that outweighs the potential for government actors to use it for coercive and oppressive ends. So is there, I'm pretty sure there is, but this is a question to you. Is there any beneficial use of this technology that outweighs the potential for human rights violation? Underlining the word potential, right?
Yes, thank you for that question. I'm probably the wrong person to address it to. Basically, it's a technology which can be abused on the one hand, but it can be also quite beneficiary and contribute. So it's always about the use case. Me personally, I signed, for example, the Copenhagen letter. The Copenhagen letter in shortly tells to use technology only for the good of humanity and society, not against, and to consider human rights. So we would not support projects where that technology is abused, so face recognition technologies is abused to hunt down minorities, to hunt down political oppositions, journalists, or whatsoever. Yeah. But there are other use cases which you could use. And here I also want to distinguish between face recognition or face analytics. Face analytics, for example, is gender age estimation. With gender age estimation, you extract data, namely the gender and the age, which you estimate from a person. You do not store an image. This is from real analytics. And by that, you extract your business data of customers coming into your shop, into your mall, into your museum, whatsoever.
It's pure statistics without connection to somebody's ID.
Exactly. Yeah. On the other hand, as I said, VIP treatment is also such a subject. If you got, of course, the agreement, the confirmation from the respective persons. It's a difficult question, yeah. On the other hand, I also like to be a bit provocative. We got GDPR in Europe, which basically means if I go to a mall and asking them, hey guys, you recorded me, this is personal data, please delete all the video footage where I'm on. So, what are they going to do? How are they going to find me all over their 300, 600 cameras, whatever it is?
So should there be any regulation, like some EU regulation, for example, for those companies to make sure your software provides a feature so that you can easily swap out any kind of personal information for the purpose of such circumstances, for example? Right?
Yeah, see, let me continue with that example. Yeah. So how would the operator, the owner, find my video footage? No chance, unless you put an army of operators there to review hundreds of hours of video footage to identify me, to delete me out of that. It's one option. The other option is, because of my request as per GDPR, they have to delete the whole video footage to make sure my request is served. So if I would be now provocative, I would say GDPR means you must have face recognition in order to find my video footage, or the video footage where I'm recording on in my whole video recordings. So it's really difficult. It's about the use case. The question is using video analytics or face recognition in police use case, prosecutions, and so on. I don't know how much it helped or how it didn't help. As long as it's under control in a democracy and you got a court order to do and use such a technology in a controlled environment, I believe that's fine. If you go to regimes where you do not have such a legislation, then it's questionable how to use, or how you should, or if you should use such a technology. But also to escape such scenarios, we are about to bring out a new module, a new functionality. It's a person re-identificator. So this is for videos where you do not have the footage of the face recognizable there. So you could still more or less in a search for a person in your video material, in your video footage, by upper body color, lower body color, and that also cross camera. let's talk about the good things about this technology. What if I have a missed child in my amusement park, in my mall, in my museum, whatsoever? So that helps me, this technology, to find that child much more quicker. What about elderly people with Alzheimer or dementia? They are getting lost also from time to time. So here I could utilize the technology for the good as well.
So how that work? You have some sort of interface where you put attributes of a lost person, like I lost my grandpa of age da 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 da, and he's wearing probably a white jacket and a black hat, and he's holding a stick in his hand, and
for example,
and the software would find such a person.
Yeah, so there are different approaches. So the one approach, the most simplest approach, is to describe the clothing. So upper body color, lower body color, you put this in. And now remember, we do real-time analytics. So it's a frame-by-frame analytics. We extract the metadata from each frame received. And this metadata is just the color, for example. Or we calculate a vector on the whole body. That's also an option. And then you could go ahead and search for all the people and put a filter for real-time alarming. Another option would be, I'm asking you, hey Tim, what time did you come to here? Here's the video footage. This is the entrance you entered. Let's see, when we see you entering, oh, this is your grandpa. Then we can extract the grandpa as a kind of feature vector, and put that one onto a watch list. So whenever this person is spotted on one of the cameras operating and connected to the analytics system, it will raise an alarm. Here it's also very important to mention video analytics is not 100% technology. Maybe we can spend some time about that as well.
I was just about to ask, how accurate is that?
Yeah. I can tell you, if there is a sales guy or a company entering your door and telling you, we detect everything with an accuracy of 100%, you can tell that person easily to find the way out where they came in again, because it's not true. So these are neural networks. It's not 100% accurate technology. Our task as a video analytics company is to get the most out of it and apply our know-how to reduce false positives as much as possible. So this is actually the task of a video analytics company, to get the most out of that, what is available or what we are training on top of then, and not confuse a user with wrong information. I will give you an example. People counting. So think about, you got a camera somewhere in the corner, 45 degrees down maybe, and you want to count people. I know there are vendors out there that are telling you, we do 100% counting on a 2D camera. So now you have got two people walking each an hour. I'm nearly 2 meters. So a person walking next to me, a bit smaller, would not be seen by the camera. So the camera cannot see the person, so it cannot count the camera. Now you would say, okay, let's do it top down, then I can see everything. Absolutely right. But if people are walking too close, shoulder and shoulder, it's not sure if the system still can separate you because the third dimension is missing. Or let's say you have got a shopping trolley and you got a head which you put into the shopping trolley because you don't know the height. So the system sees only a head and would think this is a person that would count it. So you have got miscounts. This is physical. These are physical conditions. We cannot change physics. What we can do is we can put the third dimension in by having, for example, a stereo camera or 3D technology in general. And then we are becoming much more accurate. So, for example, people counting on a 2D basis is reaching an accuracy of about 85 to 95%, depending on the camera position, depends on the scene, how crowded it is or not crowded. While a 3D counting system starts at an accuracy of 95% and typically reaches 98%, something like that, plus. So please be aware, the whole stuff is not 100%. And our task again is to make it as accurate as possible, but also to set the expectations right.
But even from the legislation perspective, you wouldn't like this kind of a tool, a tool to become autonomous in finding such person. You would like to provide a tool for an agent to make the search more suitable and easy.
Absolutely. So currently, I believe the whole technology is not good enough and mature enough to do decisions on its own without anybody else confirming it. So the problem I'm seeing here is also that people, when they get suggested results by a machine, by an algorithm, and that's a real concern, they might get used to it because most of the time it's right. And they might start believing the machine 100%. And even though I said it, there can be false positives. And then we are in a mess. Then we've got a problem.
Even in human brain, scientists like Jeff Hawkins, an author, an amazing person, an author of a book called 1,000 Brain Theory, and he's the part of the connectionist movement in the cognitive science, which says that even human brain neurons make decisions based on some sort of statistics that if we could crumble down functionality of our brain, it could be in some sense a statistical mechanics that makes decisions based on probabilities. So it wouldn't be even 100% in terms of the decisions that an agent makes based on your tool suggestions.
Absolutely, yeah. So we know a human is not perfect, and at the end of the day, the machine or the AI, the neural networks these days, they're not perfect either. I think the combination, it should be a kind of assistant, but the human should be always aware of questioning the result. Is it feasible or not?
So that's exactly where I'm trying to go with my question. Do you think there will ever be such time in our history moving forward where we could actually give additional level of autonomy to AI systems, or such tools will always require a human agent, manual, supervision?
Technology is going to evolve. The computing power will become more and more powerful. So more computing cycles can be done per second. That means the decision-finding process will be quicker and more accurate. That means it will become better and better. And I don't know what's going to be invented tomorrow, the day after. In certain environments, you might be good with machine decisions. In others, when it comes to critical decisions where it influences a human life, I'm not sure if it's wise to keep the decision completely with a machine. Let's say I would not think about exchanging a judge by an AI.
So Short question, short answer to summarize these topics. AI in public space security systems, a threat or a fundament for the future of security?
A mixture thereof. Depends on the geo. So basically, it's helping to make a city safe if you've got the right legislation in the background.
You speak a lot about, geo dependencies, and we can find information across the internet that the Middle East is becoming a sort of an AI hub especially for EMEA region. The UAE is said to be in the course to be the leading AI hub in the Middle East by 2030. Also, a recent PwC report predicted that AI will be worth 320 billion in the Middle East by 2030 and UAE. Is there any reason you can think of for this kind of situation? Why the UAE is becoming an AI hub for this region?
Well, I think it's quite obvious. These are most likely the efforts for becoming independent from oil and gas. So that means what I'm seeing here is a transformation from an oil and gas producer to a high-tech country and a vendor of high-tech, similar to what we basically see in Europe or in the US, where technology is driving business for the future. And AI is not necessarily limited to video analytics. So AI works on any kind of data, and that makes absolutely sense. Yeah, I'm seeing here simply an industry transformation.
Would AI allow us people to become more energy independent in the future? Is there any source of technology and artificial intelligence that would allow us to discover new fields of energy production in the future?
AI is already used in research, so why not? Yeah? When you're calculating models, simulations, and so on, yes, of course, it will help us in the future to identify new energy resources, but maybe more likely in the more near future, it will help us to save energy, which initially is more important because it will take longer to get additional energy resources onto the grid and develop complete new energy resources.
Mm-hmm. Would AI help us somehow with operating near renewable energy resources or controlling the future nuclear power plants?
Also here, I believe AI will play a role, or is already playing partly a role nowadays. Again, it is all about research where you use already AI-driven models.
So let's stick back to Earth for now, because we're talking about UAE heavily investing in AI in multiple fields. But from what I could learn, reading multiple news about it, most of those use cases are still video analytics. And here, how do you search for a new business opportunity as a VA company? So how do you stay competitive, and how do you search for new market opportunities and stay competitive?
To be honest, we are not developing something artificial which out of the blue, let's put it that way. And we're not in the market since yesterday. So, as I said, the roots of our video analytics companies is going back, division is going back to 2009. We got customers We are in the market, we survived. I've been a lot of startups coming in. I've seen a lot of startups in that environment, so video analytics environment, disappeared as well. What we do is we listen to our customers. We listen to demands, we listen to needs, and then we are addressing them step by step where we're seeing the most demand. So you can measure this quite easy. The more often I'm hearing a question, the more demand might be there. So then we're looking into the market and saying, hey, how can we address that one in a quite generic way to use it in multiple segments again? So because we don't want to laser focus onto one industry or to one problem only, we want to create a quite generic approach which can be used cross-segment, cross-industry, and creates a benefit there.
So it's a mixture of two, listening to customers and partnership.
Absolutely, absolutely. So coming back to partnerships, you're opening up the door again. Partnering with Intel is helping here a lot with the recent developments Intel put in here. I'm seeing also this new initiative, we mentioned it previously, Getty or Geti, is such a new platform which helps training models and productize them later on in an efficient way. That's very much interesting to the ecosystem. When I'm talking about partnering, Milestone is one of our lead partners as well. So you guys are our focus. But what we must not forget at all, here we're only on the technology sector, our most important partners are the system integrators. These are the most important guys because they carry the products into the markets. They are out there, they are on the front. They got the pain when they do an installation, when they do a configuration. And this is what we always listen very carefully to the feedback of our system integrators, of our partners here, to consider that and improve the software. So SAIMOS as a solution is not as good and there where it is today because of we are that smart. No, our partners, our system integrators, they are that smart. They provide the feedback. Their customers provide feedback regarding additional functionalities, amendments, customizations, which goes on to our development roadmap. And that's the nice thing. We're not investor driven, so we're not forced to sell one license after the other. We have the luxury to still invest in our R&D, a quite big portion, listen to the customers, get these functionalities in place, improve them over time. And I think this is a big advantage. And I always call our ecosystem the Alliance of Excellence. So it's a kind of a virtual club we are seeing here with our excellent partners out there globally and implementing the projects here.
So my final question is, SAIMOS in 10 years, what will it be?
Wow, in 10 years, hopefully bigger, a high quality technology provider. I can't tell what in 10 years is. You mentioned already robots, so maybe we're going into that direction as well.
Still with Intel?
Yes, I would not see any reason why to change that strategy. Excellent CPUs. What I saw recently, also with the speeches of the new old CEO, where the direction goes to is very promising. And I'm seeing the Intel developments, the transformation from hardware to software, very much exciting, helping ISVs like us. Absolutely, yeah. From a technology point of view, yes, it will be. Our core competence is most likely GIS, or geospatial analytics. AI for video analytics. Maybe the core competence will be expanded in the AI to other kind of analytics. Yeah, who knows? We'll see what comes up.
Thank you very much, Karim, for a great discussion. It was a pleasure to host you. And I hope this is not the last time that we speak on this podcast.
Tim, it was my pleasure. Thank you very much for the invitation, and I would love to come back to beautiful Gdansk again.
Please do.
Thank you.
Call me anytime.
Thank you very much.